I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Gloom, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha packs, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership, because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the glue in the gloom. What's it like to love your dentist? Well, you're about to find out, where healthy smiles go beyond your teeth. No drilling, no needles, and no anxiety. Relax, it's Omaha Laser Dentistry. Welcome to better. At Omaha Laser Dentistry, Dr. Bullenparty uses the Solea laser, a CO2 laser that's used in all of his day-to-day patient care. He provides thorough exams, assessments, and treatments for things like snoring, tethered tissue, and extractions like wisdom teeth, as well as other surgeries. Check him out today at omahalaserdentistry.com. Discounts may be available for F3 Omaha members. Are you or someone you know in the market to buy a new home? Well, if so, check out Major Team Mortgage. They specialize in home purchase and refinance home loans. Their mission is to purposely empower people to experience their good life through building wealth with real estate. You know, showing up in the gloom is no different than showing up for a conversation around your future of building wealth with real estate. Join the action economy and get in the game with Sasquatch. Text or call John at 402-212-0149 to schedule a time today. Individual NMLS number 1393750. Company NMLS number 2478164. Equal housing lender. Now, let's get back to the gloom. And we're live, or we're back. As we like to say, we're at the Nomad, so we're live. You may, if you're watching, you know who we've got on today. But you may be wondering, who is the main subject of this interview? Because I also have a special guest interviewer. Stripes is with us. And that's because Pony Express has moved. He lives in Kansas City, and we are now auditioning. So get your ballots ready. And but no, just honored to have Stripes with us. And
terrible call.
Yeah. And that's our man Bullseye, the man of the hour. I'm so excited, Bullseye, to get your story. Just the impact you've had, the way you've leaned in, just who you are. I really am excited to dive in. And so where we'd like to have guys kind of kick us off is the EH story. Who EH'd you? What was your first workout like? And then how'd you get the name Bullseye?
Yeah. So the first workout was not what I expected at all. My brother, Duffman, he was visiting from Texas at the time. And he was telling me all about F3, but they do it a little bit differently there, as in like they don't run away from the starting point too much. So he was telling me like, yeah, you can kind of just walk around, and it was more of just like a chance to reconnect because I only saw him like once a year at that time. And I was like, sure. I was coming off the heart walk, just walked a mile. I was feeling really good about myself. And it's like, this is a great time to catch up before all of his kids wake up because they were staying with us during that time. So we went to Wild Kingdom. From the get-go, you know, we start at the playground. They go through like the whole intro. I was into it. Cool. And then they all try to run away to do Warmorama over by the docks. And I look at my brother just directly. I'm like, dude, like, you know, we have to get back to the car, right? There was no chance for me. I was like, that's a little far. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll walk with you. And then surprisingly enough, other people chose to walk with me as well. Like there was one or two other people that joined along, and um, we missed the Warmarama, but everything was done up by the dam. And it took me a long time to get over there, but did, and I tried my best and had to. I had my pulse oximeter with me to check my oxygen levels, and they were dropping dramatically, but nobody had a problem with me pausing or stopping to let everything kind of get back up to level. And um, people were interested to hear my story. And then uh, after the workout, like I was pretty much exhausted. I was starving for oxygen. Don't remember a whole lot. I know that I chatted with like Cherry Garcia, um, Sweet Cadbury was there, and Joe Camel, um, and Barn Door was leading the workout that day.
Mm.
Got a chance to really talk with all of them. They were all really encouraging to me, like with just all of the health issues that I was dealing with at that time. And they were like, hey, like, don't worry about it. Like, just do what you can do, which for me, that meant a lot because I couldn't do much, but I wanted to do more. And so that enticed me just from the get go. And um, from there, we had the name Rama there at the end. I don't remember everything that I said in the thing. I feel like I could have gotten such worse names because of all my health issues. I think they felt bad for me to give me such a good name. But I know I brought up like how I used to travel for Dart League, and um, I mean, being visually impaired and having all of those medical issues, I could have gotten so much worse. I could have gotten like Cyclops or something, you know, because only one eye works. But I got Bullseye because I used to throw Dart League. I used to travel out of state for tournaments, and it was awesome. And later that day, a bunch of people reached out to me and were like, where are you going to go next? I found out later that they were all texting each other on like how they could get me rides to places, but
Mm.
which was really encouraging as well, just to hear about. And um, but luckily enough, my vision was just good enough to where I could start driving again, and so I was able to start making it to different workouts. But yeah, that's kind of how I got the name. And my brother was and his wife were like so excited about F3. And so that high energy really had me believing that I found like a new community, which has been great.
Heck yeah. What I had never heard the naming story. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's really intriguing to me. Like
Yeah.
the traveling dart league, like what like you is that go around to different like I'm imagining it's in a bar somewhere, but that's probably not. I don't know. Like how tell
So
us more about that.
yeah, so I used to actually travel and like you'd rent out like a big warehouse. Like the main one that I would go to was TOC in Kansas City, which was actually like in a flight hangar. So like the whole airplane hangar,
Yeah.
they would rent out, and there was literally 300 dartboards just in this room.
Wow.
Of course, they have a bar area because who throws darts and doesn't drink? You know,
Right.
for the most
Right.
part, like
Yeah.
that's definitely their
Every tournament
biggest
I've ever
moneymaker.
watched, they're drinking.
Yeah. So, um, but yeah, it was there. Like I traveled to Sioux City. It was a lot more in the Midwest. I had plans to go to Vegas, but then COVID happened and kind of put a damper on things at that point. But
Hmm.
like I did go to Kansas City quite a bit, and I went to like Sioux City. They had a bunch of tournaments in Lincoln. I would go and do what they called like luck of the draw tournaments, where you get partnered up with somebody random just by drawing a number, and you just throw games of darts like all night.
Wow. How
Yeah.
did you get into that? Like were you somebody in your family into that or you just
No, I
realized you were
mean,
good at it and
my like I when I turned 21, maybe just slightly before 21, but going to places, and I really enjoyed pool, but it was so repetitive. And I grew up with like a pool table, but then darts, there was like a lot more strategy involved and it was like ever changing. So, um, one of the bars that I would go to play pool at quite a bit, then we would throw darts just on the side and they're like, we'll sponsor you to come in and have a team here. And then just really kind of got into it from there.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Just kind of picked up.
What as you think about and I should have told you this before. If I ask you something that you don't want to answer, just tell me that and we can edit it out. But I remember working out with you one time and you told a story about early on there was maybe some fear with coming to an F3 workout because of your experience. And you told this story about like you were at a physical therapy appointment one time and maybe had fallen. And so this idea of like just being able to get down on the ground and do push-ups with the guys. And I don't know if you'd be willing to just like walk us through that. Like how did you work through that in those early days? And then where you at today on that?
Yeah. And overall, like, feel free to ask any question because at this point, like, I have enough love and trust in the community to where it doesn't bother me
Yeah.
anymore. I did have a lot of fear of judgment for a long time. And but that's beside the point. But I feel like I've had so many people really help me move past that, but and just kind of grow in my confidence. And that's really thankful to a lot of the people that have been just part of it, like
Mm.
conversations with Stripes and like Baby Back, Walleye Killians, like just doing Q Source. Those have been really big things to help me kind of work through it. I think that's probably where it got brought up.
Yeah.
It was Q Source, but yeah. So this was, um, I did slip and fall on ice. And this was when I was going through my occupational therapy.
Mm.
So this was like shortly after the ICU, before F3. I had slipped and fallen on ice when we were walking outside. This was like my second experience walking outside. It was just walking to the end of the block and back.
Mm.
And I think it would have been like February of 2024. Um, and I was like nearing the end of finishing my in-home therapy stuff. And our goal was just to walk down to the stop sign at the end of my street and back. And there was like a little area that was shaded and snow had melted. And because it was shaded, it was icy right there. And it didn't show up that way. And so I had just hit it and slipped and fallen. And I was there for, I don't know, like 45 minutes on the ground. So I was cold, like I was like just had a ton of fear of not being able to get back up.
Mm.
My occupational therapist, like she can't hold my weight, like she can't pick me up. And I didn't have the strength to get myself back up at that point either. So like it was really like a long time. We had a couple cars pass us on the road. And luckily, like at one point a truck pulled over because they saw how much we were struggling and trying to get up. And this guy hopped out of the car and I don't know his name. Wish I did so I could thank him again. But
Mhm.
again, like I was just like so I don't know, like tunnel visioned at that point to
Yeah.
where I was just like in fear of just like again not being able to support myself in that instance to where I wasn't able to get up. But he was able to help me between the two of them, um, kind of get my bearings and get up and walk home. And at this point, like I'd have to just walk like two houses and then check my oxygen levels and stop for a minute or two, and then walk two more houses. And that was kind of like the rhythm of things. From there, I graduated and went to cardiac pulmonary rehab, but I had that fear of just not being able to get up off the ground.
Mm.
And honestly, like, I don't think I got on the ground for a workout up until like October. So I started in June. So I went like 4 months
Mhm.
of workouts and not even being able to or just having the fear of like getting down to the ground to do hammers or to do push-ups or sit-ups or anything. So I would try to just modify and do whatever I could in
Mhm.
that instance because it was really it was an internal fear, but also at that point I think it was also kind of like a legitimate fear. Like, but at that point in October when I finally did get up and like go down to the ground, like it was a slow process. It was just doing hammers at the end of the workout. And I felt like I had enough trust in the people around me to where like if I was stuck on the ground, they'd have the strength to be able to help get me up too.
Oh,
So um luckily I didn't need it because I'd been working hard enough and was able to kind of slowly move into that process of doing so. But it was definitely an innate fear
yeah.
that needed to be overcome and um look at me now.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
how must it have felt, you know, like that first time you proved to yourself, like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. It was a big celebration for me internally. Like I was over the moon.
Yeah.
It was yeah, there's no describing that feeling of like when you actually just like conquer a fear of yours that has built up and you really just kind of have that moment of success over it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to backtrack because, especially since you said no questions are off limits. So
Yeah.
we,
Go
a
ahead.
lot of us have seen you get to that point and the progress that you've made. But I think a lot of guys out there don't know your full story and just how bad in a health situation you were. And I felt really blessed that we were able to connect at Bunstown one day when I was coming off knee surgery. And so I couldn't really do everything. And I think it was Mamie that day, right? That went all the way down to the track, the elementary school, like a mile away.
Yeah.
And that was
Oh, that was Flat Stick's fault.
that was a month or two after you started. It wasn't
Yeah.
very, very far into
Flat
it.
Stick was like,
so-
we don't do a whole lot of running at Bunstown.
Yeah.
So like, come out. He didn't even show up for the workout.
Yeah.
And I go to Bunstown and I think Mamie was queuing
Yeah.
that day. And yeah, he's like, yeah, we're gonna run down to the what was it, like the soccer field or football
The
field?
elementary school.
Yeah,
track,
the elementary
it's
school
about a
track.
mile away.
And I was like, oh man, like this is not for me like today. But then yeah, luckily you were there. And I think you've even said it. Well, we and you have had many conversations and even co-led a couple of workouts where it's like in this world, like where would somebody in my situation be able to meet somebody in your situation, or like even with you, Plague,
Yeah.
like there's no world that we all have that we would ever meet like in just a setting such as this.
Hmm.
But the thing is I think we all strive to be so much better for ourselves. And when you have that common goal just in your life, like this is like the perfect community to really meet that. But yes, to your question, I suffered from blood clots. Originally, I lost my vision to COVID in January of 2022. So I was completely blind, legally blind in both of my eyes, where I couldn't count fingers that people were doing there. I couldn't make out facial features. It was just very difficult. I leaned into alcohol quite a bit. Over time, it just got worse and worse because at that point, I had pretty much given up on life. And it was honestly very tough. Like looking back, like I don't know if I would have done things differently. It was just really a difficult situation. Like you're faced with something that hits you so hard that you just don't know how to manage it and you just can't function through it. And, like I ended up in the ICU. Like they took me off blood thinners in July of 2023 because the clots were gone in my leg. I was still completely blind in both eyes. And by October of 2023, I had clots in all 5 lobes of my lungs. They were completely blocked. My oxygen saturation was like down in the 40%.
That's not good for those of you that
For those of you that aren't nurses, or in the medical profession.
For those of you that aren't doctors or pulmonologists, you know, like
normally we set those monitors when I was a nurse on the floor. 98% is what, and 88 was like a low. That's when we would have the alarms go off, right?
Yeah. So 88 was like the cutoff. Like they didn't want you below that.
Yeah. So you're at 40%.
Yeah.
That's
And but so like I ended up, I was in my recliner. Like I hadn't slept for like 2 days. At that time, I just really wanted to go have a cigarette. I tried to stand up, like fell backwards completely because I got so lightheaded when I just tried to stand up. Had my mom at the time called the ambulance to come and figure things out. Like they came, like they did all their vital stuff, and I was stubborn and I was like, no, I'm good. I just need to sleep. And I was like, but I need a cig first. So
I've been there.
I was like, I just want to go out and have a cigarette. And like, they're like, well, if you can go out and have a cigarette, then we'll leave you alone. And so I tried to stand up again, fell backwards, almost passed out from that. And they're like, we got to take you. And I was like, well, I didn't really have a choice at that time. Like, because
can I smoke in the ambulance?
But I was awake in the ICU for like 3 days on top of that. So like I was full hallucinating while I was there. It wasn't a great experience, but in the long run, like that was kind of my bottom point. It was, I mean, I literally had to learn everything over again, like basically learning to walk, like learning to do all of these things. So backtracking to the origin of where everything kind of changed, it was a rough go. And my brother, once he heard that I was in the ICU, like in Washington, he's a pediatrician out there. He flew in. Some of you guys have met him. His F3 name is Munson. But he flew out immediately and was like an advocate for me while I was there, and at least had some idea of what was going on. And doctors have their talks that they go through, which none of us will ever understand because they're lingo. So he was able to dumb it down for me a bit.
Yeah.
like to think I'm an intelligent guy, but that's above my pay grade, which is 0 right now. So.
I love it. I'm just, as I'm hearing you tell this story, I feel so grateful that we get to, like you said, like that you came to F3 as like a pathway, like out or to like a better place, and that we get to be around you, because I'm learning so much from you, have learned so much from you, but even just in this story, like the way that you have navigated all of this, and I would love to hear like what's the journey been sort of on this side of the ICU, like you're obviously you're working hard, right? You're trying to show up, you're trying to do as much as you can. I would be curious, like what progress have you seen? Like, do you feel like, have you lost a lot of weight? Are you getting better doctor's reports? Like talk us through some of the benefits or some of the things you've seen on this side of the
Yeah. So after getting out of the ICU, I went through, like I said, the occupational therapy, finished that up in February at the very end, where I was finally able to make it upstairs and actually take a shower instead of doing sponge baths in the kitchen. Don't recommend the sponge baths. Highly recommend showers, though.
Unless you have a hot nurse, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
which it wasn't that way. There was no nurse involved in the sponge baths.
Okay.
The water goes from hot to cold real quick.
Yeah.
But there was also just the so after that I went to cardiac pulmonary rehab, and that was at CHI in Lakeside. They were great there. They helped me just kind of navigate some of the different things. I got a ton of knowledge of like how to better monitor. Like during that time, I quit smoking cigarettes. I mean, I quit drinking, getting out of the ICU for a very long period of time, and uh, but yeah, never gonna go back to tobacco usage, and so that was great. And I joined the Heart Walk. Like I had to train to do that. They had a 123-foot track around all of the machines. So just to put that in perspective, I had to do 42 to 43 laps. It was right in the middle there to get a mile in
Wow.
around that track. So when you see me walking in circles, I've gotten really adjusted to doing that.
Yeah.
And so I don't need to explore too much. I like being in familiar territory.
Yeah.
But I think that goes with the vision as well. But yeah, once I got done with that, I joined their team for the heart and stroke walk that happened in May. And that's it was right along the riverfront. It took me 45 minutes to walk a mile. I had to take a couple breaks. Again, monitoring my oxygen, but like I trained to do that, and I was like so looking forward to being able to do it. And when I accomplished that, like I was riding just like a huge adrenaline rush. And
Mhm.
I think that was like really what kind of sparked my motivation to even just come with my brother Ben or Duff Man to come to an F3 workout and be like, yeah, I can be on my feet that long. I
Mhm.
can actually stand and at least do something. And um, I also kind of pridefully, I kind of just wanted to like show them how much I've improved
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like
For
you kind of
sure.
want to show off your skills when you've been down in the dumps and you're like, look at me now. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I'm from there. Like I have dropped 120 pounds.
Wow.
My heart failure was at a grade 3, and it's systolic dysfunction heart failure. And so my cardiologist told me that like I have the heart of an 80-year-old. And I was like, so that makes me very wise and like very strong. And like I have multiple years on me.
Yeah.
And, but I don't think he took it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I, uh, now at a grade 1, but he told me it would never get better. He's like, our goal is to just sustain and not let it get worse. We have coronary artery disease, which isn't curable either. Um, but it's nothing that can be solved by a stent. So, like, systolic dysfunction is like when your heart is beating, but it constantly always has some stress, like on the
Mhm.
outside of the heart. So it's not like that there's blockages inside of it. It's just that it never is actually fully at rest. But like through all the workouts and all the effort, um, my heart failure has actually gotten better. And again, I mean, by the grace of God, but also thanks to the community and the work that's been put in.
Mm.
Like, so, I mean, it is worthwhile to really push yourself and break limits because it is possible. And my vision has still started improving. Again, it was in February, like the end of February, early March of 2024 that so from the ICU October 2023 to February, March of 2024 is when I was able to get glasses. So again, because of the nerve damage, my neuro ophthalmologist never expected my vision to get better, and nerves don't repair themselves. Um, but somehow mine got well enough to drive, and that was again just by the grace of God in my mind that there's something more for me out there, and life to live. So I mean, I've had so many moments to where like hope just keeps presenting itself,
Mm.
which like when I had given up and lost all hope, like I've seen hope in just so many different areas.
Yeah.
Amazing, but I mean, it's also, I mean, it's heartwarming and like it's also just kind of like an emotional
Yeah.
thing. 'Cause-
So going back to the first workout, Wild Kingdom on
Yep.
Tuesday, you got Duffman there with you. So you got a support system already, right? You
Mhm.
said some of the guys were really welcoming, made you feel better. Duffman's there the rest of the week. Did you go to more beatdowns with him? And then what I want to know after that is, so once you didn't have that kind of support, that family brother that you know is going to be there for you, what was it like, the mental aspect of it? Because we can all imagine the physical side of it, of how far you've come, how hard you worked, how hard that side of it was for you. But I know Slow Pitch has put it a certain way that is a lot more articulate than I will, but he's talked about just how in a situation like that, how just lacing up your shoes in the morning can be such probably mentally daunting to go into a situation like that. So talk me through the mindset after you didn't have that support system and the next few workouts after that, when you were kind of didn't have the training wheels on.
Yeah. So I did go to a workout with him every day that week. Except for the day after he went to heavy metal to check out a dumbbell workout. I woke up like 10 minutes too late to join him. And I was like, "Hey, did you already leave?" Like, I don't know. And he's like, "I figured you were probably just worn out, so I didn't try to wake you up." And he's like, "I don't know how I would do that." And I was like, "Makes sense," because he used to use an air horn to try to wake me up back in high school for weightlifting. So
That's
I
odd
don't
that
know.
he wanted to go to a dumbbell side. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll have to get Duffman on here. For
yeah.
this story.
But he was like, "You can still go to a workout. Like, there's a main stage right there next to the house." So I was like, "Okay, like, why not?" Like, I didn't want to. I don't know. There's always been kind of like this connection between me and him, like in like a competitive way. We're a year and a half apart, you
Yeah.
know, and but at the same time, like I didn't want to disappoint him by being like, "Oh, I just skipped." You know, like I felt like I was in just such like a new space in life and just wanted to, I don't know, like kind of, I was in a point of where I still felt like I wanted his approval in that sense, but also just to make him proud also. So like being the youngest brother, you know, being just there, I wanted to, you know, have that moment where like he was proud
Mm.
of everything that I've been doing. And so I went to main stage. They played dodgeball. I was still like my eyes weren't ready for that,
Mhm.
but so I got hit plenty of times. I mean, I know I'm like I'm not like I'm kind of a small target, so it was tough for them to hit me, but like
That's
did
just cruel if they're aiming at the guy that can't see.
Yeah.
well, they didn't know that at the time
Oh,
either.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Mm.
I didn't go around just advertising that,
You
you
got the
know.
patch on. Oh.
Yeah.
What?
But
Go ahead.
yeah, I other than that, every day that week we went to workouts and it was great. And you know, people were again just accepting. It was also probably good that he wasn't there that second day
Mm.
because I got a chance to just chat with people. Like Urkel was there and he was hanging with me like back, and we were chatting and just got like a chance to just be like really get more insight into what F3 was about and what it meant to people here. And I really got that like sense of community. Plus, I was also just because I was doing the cardiac pulmonary rehab, the age group in that was also like in like their 60s to 80s mark.
Yeah.
So I was kind of at the point where I was moving past that and maybe trying to go to Genesis. So I was going to like Genesis on the weekends just to walk for 10 minutes and then do a machine for 20 minutes. And that was my workout. But so I was trying to kind of find a different workout community that was more my age range. Um, so the timing of it was just like perfect too, because I would have never seen myself waking up early. I would have never seen myself working out again. I hated both of those things,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow it's functioned in that way. So yeah, that's a good question.
Love it.
I love it. What?
But my brother did give me advice, and I don't, for lack of better words, like he's like, when you go to a workout, don't give an F what anybody thinks. Like,
No.
just do what you want, what you're able to do, and just really ignore what other people are thinking or what your thoughts of what they're thinking is going to be. Like, you're there just to do what you can and only do what you can. Don't push it too hard. Don't push it. Don't try to keep up with everybody, but keep doing what you can do. And that's all you need to do.
That doesn't
And-
sound like Duff Man at all. Don't care about anybody else. Like,
Yeah, I
just
know.
don't give an F.
Solid advice, though. You know, I think we have had guys not come back because they're carrying too much, right? And it's on both sides, right? We say modify as necessary, which does mean if the workout's too easy for you, then make it harder, right? If we're doing, you know, squats and you need to do jump squats because you're just that tough, then do that, right? But I think like we've seen guys that are just not able to, like, you know, so kudos to you for being able to do that. I am curious with something that I want to kind of get your thoughts on, like, what's the goal? Like, when I think about your story and your journey, I'm like, well, is there a future Bullseye that's like running half marathons, or is there a future Bullseye that like where do you see this going? Like, and then I guess I would be curious, like, how do you stay motivated? Because we all know, like, as you're making progress, there are those plateau sort of seasons, right? So
Yeah.
how have you stayed motivated? And then where do you want to get to? Because I think
I've plateaued, you know, many times and overcame them and plateaued and gone backwards. And so the goal is to drive a golf cart for a half marathon.
Okay. That's where your comment with in the Tater video,
Yeah,
right? You go,
yeah.
do you get a golf cart in retirement?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense now.
Yeah. Me and Tater had probably one of my favorite F3 moments, riding around in the golf cart at the farm for the flag pass. And I'd have to say that was one of my biggest highlights of my F3 career.
That's awesome.
But I think my motivation, and I actually am planning on having surgery, like a bariatric surgery upcoming, because that's going to be something that I think is going to be important for me to overcome, like, one of my biggest plateaus, which is my weight. And I've plateaued there, but I've had so many non-scale wins, which we've kind of discussed already. But my biggest motivation is honestly just family. Like, I just got back from Washington. You know, I was able to play baseball with my 5-year-old nephew, you know, pitching and just running around the bases a little bit, jogging here and there, you know, like, I mean, I wasn't able to keep up with him because, I mean,
yeah,
he's yeah, because
he's fine. Yeah.
Well, he's a marathon runner apparently. You know, I'm not quite at his level yet, but you know, maybe in 5 years I will be. You know, he's had 5 years to practice. So
right.
I'm only 2 years in right now. So give me a break. But
love it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really the family aspect. Like, I look back at so many instances in life, like the family vacations that I've gone on, like all the different things that I've done. I really did enjoy them, but I don't know if I was able to participate the way that I ever wanted to. You know, it's been a long time since, like, you go, like, body surfing in the water, you know, on the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. Yeah. But like
I'm not a geography major either.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you go, but then you go and want to play like baseball, you know, like just doing that or playing soccer with them. And like, I mean, my nieces and nephews being at this age, like, has been a huge motivation. Me and well, I joked with my brother quite a bit about like, hey, when his twin boys were born, when they're now 3, I was like, well, when they were learning to walk, like I was learning to walk. When they
Yeah.
were learning to kind of run around, like I was learning
Yeah.
to run around. So like I get to kind of keep up with them
Yep.
and like those activities and really being able to participate in some of these things that like I've never actually been able to do or not in a very long time. I think those are like such a big motivation for me because family is so important, but just being a part of experiences is also extremely important. Like not just sitting on the sideline watching people and being like watching the experiences happen around you, even though like it's in person. It's a lot different to actually experience and be a part of it, like right firsthand.
Yeah. You just, I think hearing you say that makes me think of all of the times I have taken for granted that I have that ability, but I sometimes prioritize other things because I don't realize like how much of a privilege it is to be able to participate things. So I'm uh, feeling a little bit convicted. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's also really like just your perspective. I think on that is just so eye opening, right? Because it's not a typical motivator, right? I think some guys are motivated by all motivated by different things, but I think just such a pure, authentic thing to be motivated by. I love that.
Yeah.
Are you as you're thinking about this, so because you're on family, it kind of segueing into like the fellowship community sort of space. How did you so maybe give us a little bit of the background because it seems like from what I hear, right, family is super important to you. What was family like growing up? Like, what's your relationship like with your folks, if you don't mind going there? And how did you get to this point where like you really get it that family is where it's at?
Yeah. So, I mean, we were all decently close growing up. Um, we didn't grow up with faith as like a background. So, we didn't grow up with like any type of like religion, but we were all very involved in sports. And so that was kind of like our grouping of getting like our ethics built and just kind of where we were at. And like weightlifting for high school sports and for football, very involved, like baseball, basketball. Those were kind of our go-tos. But my parents did get divorced right after I graduated high school.
Mm,
They they didn't have like they had a okay relationship. They had a lot of strain. I think finances was like the biggest thing when it came to the strain like in their life.
mm,
And I don't know, it could be a reason why members of my family are like super involved in keeping their finances, and there could be reasons why like myself or I could care less, like,
mm,
or just ready to like support somebody or be willing to just spend money to have fun or just enjoy life because
mhm,
like those things to me are important. And I would never want that to be like a deterrent for somebody, like finances, they are important, but like I don't think that they are the end all be all. Um, and, but other than that, like there's a lot of love, I'd still say, like
mhm,
in my whole family. So, I mean, there's nothing to regress from the fact that there is a lot of love, revolving around everybody in the family. Because I think that's always been important.
mhm,
So, like, there's never been like a lack of support system, and we have family history, with like farming community and here in Nebraska, and it's been great. So, I mean, the family dynamic though wasn't revolving around faith. It was again, we were on the go nonstop when it comes to sports
mhm.
growing up. And yeah, I think that as I've gotten older now, like, and especially after the ICU, I think faith became like a big part. And now I'm diving deeper into family history when it comes to like what my grandparents' faith was, and asking my parents about like their faith when they were kids and like maybe why we weren't as involved in
Mm,
things. And um, it's really sparked great conversation,
yeah.
which is amazing. Um, and again, it's not that we were not like we weren't raised against having faith. It just wasn't there.
Hmm.
It was, and both of my parents, my dad's Jewish, my mom's Methodist, and they both are strong in their faith, but they didn't really ever talk about it. So,
Interesting.
um, I don't know. It gave me an interesting dynamic to really gather my own view of faith over the last year and a half. When I started exploring, that's been really great for me.
I love it. I do want to dive deeper into your personal faith journey, but I also know community is a word that
Yeah.
has a lot of meaning for you, and would love to just kind of hear how have you found that? What has that meant to you as you're coming to F3 and sort of developed some of that community?
Yeah. And I think that I could probably kind of merge one into the other at this point, but like the community of family and the support that I had coming out of the ICU, especially with like reconnecting more with my brothers, because we got kind of distant, after high school, like they started their families, and one's in Washington, the other one was in Texas at the time. So it wasn't quite as like communicative as what it normally would have been. And I think after the ICU, like the family dynamic and community really strengthened overall, just because of me needing the support, like more so than anything,
Mm,
and them being able to step up and provide that support, which meant, you know, everything. Like, I don't think that I could have made it through to be here today without having them starting that community aspect off and really stepping up to ensure that like everything was going well and continues to. Um, Now it's more of like an accountability thing where they're there, and they're willing to call me out, when I mess up or anything and just check in and I can just it's opened up so many more like honest conversation. It's
mm,
not the surface level like, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids doing? Like there's a lot more deeper conversations, which maybe we didn't have as much
yeah.
prior to that, which it's easy to just try to do the quick catch up, as opposed to the diving deeper into things. And I love the conversations we have that we get to dive deeper. Those conversations mean a lot to me, and pretty sure that they mean a lot to them too, from the sounds of it. And um, tough to get a lot of an emotion out of Duff Man, but I've gotten some here and there.
He looks like
You
a
know,
crier to me.
yeah,
Deep down,
I
tears are healing.
Does
Definitely.
he smile? Does he ever smile?
I've gotten a couple smiles out of
Okay.
him.
All
It's
right.
tough to get a picture of him
Thanks for
smiling,
that.
but it happens. When you get him around his kids and his wife, like
I bet.
and
Soft.
family,
Is he a big teddy bear?
he is a teddy bear when it comes to family. So I'll let you guys dig deeper into that when his comes around. But yeah, he's honestly like as stern as he can be. He is always looking out for the best for everybody, and like his heart is always in such a good place. Like he wants to see people become better. He wants to see improvement, and it's never ill intended, which, I think speaks volumes on his character. Um, and I think that kind of revolves around our family dynamic too. Um, so, but yeah, from that though, like the F3 community, being part of that, like I said, the whole aspect of people checking in on me, encouraging me to go to workouts. Like you had touch base on like what it looked like after my brother had left town. Um, the people that reached out were amazing. Like they were trying to set me up with like going to sites that were better. Like I live off 156 in Harrison, and I still travel to go to like Coronado and like the Ruckus occasionally and like do like the places that are more geared towards like improvement, but not moving so far from like the starting point to where it's like more modifiable of a workout. And no matter where you go, I mean, I'm at the point now where like I feel like I can go anywhere and figure out a way to modify it and just kind of veer off and do what's able to suit me. But at the beginning stage, like I had no idea. So like the people that reached out and really pointed me in the direction and finding those people that were willing to help and stay with me and like have those conversations while I was working out and didn't like you almost didn't feel like you're working out because you get stuck talking, or in my instance it was like checking my oxygen, trying to catch my breath, being extremely exhausted, and then the guy next to me was talking nonstop, which was great because I wasn't as like I was like, oh, the time's already over, perfect.
Yeah.
Like as my shirt is just drenched in sweat from doing just enough
Yeah.
for the day.
Love it.
Well, I'd say, yeah, if you can go about anywhere if you're the site queue of a running site, right? You
Yeah.
can go do about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to get it revamped as running and rucking, but
And you did.
it is.
You did, because I was there this week and there was 3 of us running and everybody else rucked. So,
perfect.
Yeah. It's good.
The influence is real.
There's a lot of research out there supporting rucking
Yeah.
and walking these days, and but
I heard you had some reservations about rucking in the beginning.
I think biking and rucking are things that I will do to support other people, and then for my own personal enjoyment, I will do them when my body doesn't allow me to run anymore. But I still enjoy them. Hey, are you the type of guy that likes to get up early in the winter to battle your jester? Do you love listening to people drone on and on and on about COVID in the gloom? Would you trust your vision to a guy nicknamed Cataracts? Well, if the answer to any of these questions is yes, fellas, you have bigger problems than you think. Dr. Cataracts, aka Dr. Wolf, can't solve all of your problems, but he can certainly help you solve the problems related to your eye health and vision. You will find many F3 principles throughout his practice. Check him out today at Exclusively Eye Care. I think that's one of the cool things is I hear your journey is like something that's just at the core of F3 is like, we're not, most of the guys out there aren't out there for the fitness. And the way that you can tell is like somebody shows up that needs to modify, and you've got guys that are willing to I'll sacrifice my workout to walk with you, and I think that like, you don't see that at the gym, right?
Not at all.
You don't see that in a lot of other places. And I think that is what forms trust and community, right? And now this environment where you can come in and you can say, okay, well, I've trusted you sort of with this kind of surface level fitness stuff. Now I can trust you with deeper conversations about like, what do I believe, And I think that, I loved how I don't even know if you noticed this, but you like in your mind, you're like, well, I can connect the dots to faith and community now. Right. And I would love to hear like, how are you doing on your faith journey? Like, where are you at?
Yeah. So, honestly, it just started going to coffee, and like, there's a lot of people that are connected to their faith and their church. And, because I didn't have that growing up, it didn't veer away like any curiosity. So sitting in and listening in on some of the conversations kind of sparked my curiosity again. It also got my mind kind of back into the real world of things. Like you take 2 years or a little over 2 years, and where you're stranded in your neighborhood and like not having any conversations that revolve around business or faith or anything, like you kind of get to the point where like you are so stuck in repetition. Um, to have those conversations and hear everything has really like inspired me to pursue like those different thoughts and beliefs. And then there was the offer to go to Alpha, which was offered at Lifegate. Papa Smurf had invited me. Um, and I was like, that was the first evening activity that I was able to take on. Like it was for a long time, it was go to a workout, like be just so worn out. My body was like shut down for the rest of the day. And then just basically go to sleep at night and um, try to be prepared to do it the next day.
Mm.
And so like I was at the point after that time frame, and this happened in like October of 2024, where he invited me to Alpha. I was joining and I was able to kind of go through some of that faith journey, and I actually established like a whole new community there too, which now I have a strong church community, a strong faith community. And the impact retreat that was in January that year, like that was such an eye-opening experience to where I made the decision in that moment that like I wanted to be baptized, and like I had like a actual like God experience when I was out there, which was amazing. And I mean, highly recommend if you are thinking about doing the impact retreat that you should do it. I mean, it's in the title, it's impactful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like it truly is an eye-opening experience. And if you go there and you're just open and honest to what is going to be provided and given to you, um, I went in with no expectations. Like just I'm gonna be open. I had all my reservations for it, you know, but I was like, I'm gonna put those aside, like just see what happens. And it was honestly one of the greatest experiences that I've had in life. And that's where like I was like when I was there and I was going through like a meditation there, it was I was just given three different statements from God, and it was like, you are loved, you have purpose, and lean into community. And that shut down so many anxieties that I've had,
Mm.
like right then and there, which many people don't really get a chance to talk about, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it was, for me, like, I was fearful of ending up back in the ICU every single day since I had been out. Like, it was a revolving fear of mine, and it wasn't just the fear of getting on and off the ground. Like
Mm.
I was fearful of death, you know, or
Yeah.
like just, and that was an ongoing thing. And going to the impact retreat really helped me move past and out of that, which forever grateful for.
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, you mentioned that you made the decision that you want to get baptized there. But
Yeah.
for the guys that don't know that story, talk
Mhm.
about that day
Yeah.
and
So many
just
stories.
how meaningful that day was to you. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was obviously not just a typical baptism where you're in church and you get the water on the head or you get dipped in the water. It was a lot bigger deal. So tell everybody about that.
Yeah. So, um, I wasn't sure on baptism completely. I wasn't sure if it was just like a show of like this is something that you just do to like claim that you now have faith. And my brother in Washington had sent me some scriptures to read through, and like I really made my own connection as to like why it's important, and like how water is a renewal of life, and the importance behind that. And then asked Cadbury. He was there at my first workout. You know, we've had many conversations since, and he's become a great friend too. And like couldn't have had anybody better there to actually perform the baptism. Um, Wait time let me host it at his house. He offered it up. Like when I told him that I was thinking about getting baptized, he's like, dude, have it in my pool. And I was like, okay, are you sure? Like I'm going to have I have like 30 family members. And
it's a nude baptism.
yeah,
Time. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
The holiest of water.
Yeah. So I mean he was so open, and him and Gisela are the greatest. Like they're so kind anyway. And like if he's never your friend at the workout that he's leading, we'll remind you of that at the
Yeah.
beginning. But
Yeah.
45
he
minutes.
is truly your friend outside of the workout, and they are just great people. But yeah, he opened up his pool to an outside space to me and my family and friends. Was amazing. There was 70 people that showed up overall, bunch of F3 guys, their families, and my whole family was able to be there, and it was just an amazing experience. Like I I couldn't describe it anything outside of that. I don't think it was a rejuvenation, renewal of life, and to have family, friends, and like just the F3 community be there, because F3 I think really helped me find my personal faith, and they've been the biggest part in it. And while I have my church community, and that's extremely important for me now, I couldn't have imagined it happening any other way and being as meaningful if it would have happened in the church versus happening at the pool, having all the people that were there being able to surround and support.
One of the other things on the third F, right? We often talk about like your personal faith, but we also talk about community sort of service, maybe is how you could categorize it. So I know you mentioned it a little bit in there with wait time and the heart walk. You've kind of hinted at that, but I know there's an upcoming heart walk too. So can I give you a few seconds or moments to just sort of like tell everybody what is it about the heart walk? Why is it important to you? And why should people participate in that?
Yeah, let's spend the next hour talking about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, but the Heart Walk is on May 16th. I The impact that it's had on me, I know I mentioned it earlier. It was a big milestone for me to be able to hit that first mile walking outside. Um, but heart and stroke prevention, there 1 in 4 men experience some type of heart issue in their life, whether it just be high blood pressure, or heart attacks, uh, anything heart related. It's very important to have the research there. It's a great cause, and the money all goes to funding for research, but also education. And uh, Wait time, he's on the board of it. I have a team that's put together for it. I even made some heart walk bracelets. They're great
Yeah, I've got
for
one.
it.
Yeah.
And but it's a great cause, and all family members are welcome to join. You can bring your pets as long as they're good around people. And it's just an amazing experience. We walk, it starts at Jean Leahy Mall, 9 a.m. Again, May 16th. And it's just a walk like right along the riverfront. So usually you get like a solid sunrise kind of going with just a bunch of people, all just having a good time. There's a 1 mile and 3 mile route. So, and it's a walk. So it's not a marathon quite
Mhm.
yet,
That's okay.
you know.
Okay, yeah.
uh, if
You'll
if I
get
get to
there.
that point, then
Yeah.
maybe I'll start a heart marathon.
That's right.
You know,
I love it. Yeah.
but this is a great starting point, and would appreciate anybody and everybody's support. And I think it's just a great cause.
And for guys that can't walk, they can still donate.
Correct.
Nice. All right. I think we've reached that point in the show where Stripes has some rapid fire.
Oh, it's just the rapid
Questions.
fire time. I was wondering when it was going to come.
So
Yeah, this
I
is
was like, you've been pretty quiet over there.
this is pretty intense.
okay. So this is quick answers.
Okay.
Okay, so they're designed to be kind of like short 1 to 5 second answers. Speed Bump was a terrible person to test this on because
Yeah.
he can't give short answers. He talks a lot. So just
Oh,
don't
I'm
put a lot
terrible
of
second person to
don't
put
put a
this
lot
in.
of thought into it. First thing that pops into your mind, just spit it out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Site you've never been to, but you want to go to.
Boxcar.
That's a good one. F3 guy that you don't really hang out with or know all that well, but you'd like to get to know him better or hang out with him outside of F3.
Oh, nightstand.
F3 name you would choose if you had to change your F3 name.
I actually kind of like Cyclops.
Cyclops.
I did throw that out earlier, but
that'd be a good,
I
easy
think
Halloween costume.
yeah.
Right?
Okay. There's only one right answer for this one for you at least. F3 hammer that you see on the queue scheduler that you show up to a beatdown and you know he's going to stick it to you.
Oh, barn door.
Your brother's going to kill you. Not Duff Man.
I would agree.
Would I go to his
Oh.
workout? I don't go to his workouts.
Barn door? Yeah, he puts on a good beat down for sure.
All right. Best or your favorite exercise that you like to incorporate into beatdowns when you're in the queue.
LBCs.
Okay. And least favorite when you're not the queue that you have to do that somebody else is.
I mean, I modify burpees into more of like a thruster, but yeah, I'd still stick with that just because it's got too much on my back.
All right. I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Last question. Obviously, you mentioned your brothers all in F3, so it's a family affair. Which Homer has the best F3 name?
Oh, I do like Duff Man.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, that is one of my favorites.
All right. Maybe he'll go easy on you for not.
Yeah,
He's the biggest hammer.
But
Awesome. Good job. I think you performed really well. I think that's not easy to do. I know, we could talk forever. I know we've maybe talked about doing a part 2 or episode 2, but as we're kind of wrapping up, something we didn't get to spend a ton of time on, but would love to. Anything you want to share about your time as a site Q and just kind of the leadership aspect of things?
oh man, the greatest part was, I think, working with Reflex. He's such a solid guy,
Mhm.
and him having newborns like kind of during the time of us being site Qs, I think it worked out well for us to be able to manage. But we were able to just pull in like different people from different areas of town and really just bring in like a different aspect to the community. And I think that was probably my favorite part, was just being able to pull in those people that you don't get to see too often and really kind of get their thoughts and actually chat with them, have coffee afterwards, and really just
Mhm.
pull from what their experiences have been in F3. And I enjoy the COTs after every workout, and the fact that you kind of get to know people so much better through those has been amazing. And it also kind of just gave me um, a lot more confidence kind of throughout the year, to just like what is actually achievable. Like I started off scared, like very unsure, and Stripes, you were the one that kind of like helped give me the nudge when we had lunch. And um, after that, like I think I took like 2 days to think about it, but then I was like, if I know too much going in, then it ruins the experience of actually going through it. So I don't know. I had fear of taking that leap of faith to do it, but it was the best thing that I did, and it gave me so much more from that. And I think there's a lot to grow from from it.
Yeah.
Well, having been involved in the process, both of us, we couldn't have picked better guys with you two. That site has always been an awesome site. Had gone through some stuff, but you absolutely pumped new life into it. You built a culture there of your own. And Chucky will not want to hear this, but you turned a running site into a absolutely open for all men type of site that a lot of guys shied away from before that. And you should be really, really, really proud of yourself for that.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
I do have one question just because you mentioned how much you like COTs. There's a rumor out there that you're on a pretty prestigious list if you get a text after your COT from Bullseye. That's sort of like the Bullseye seal of approval. So is that a thing, or how, like when you hear a good COT, you reach out and give some encouragement, or what's?
Yeah. So something that's been so important for me, which Wentworth actually got me started on this, and it kind of changed into something different for me. Um, he talked to me about journaling, like what my experiences were. This started in like July of 2024, so like a month after I started. And he's like, you should just journal like where you're at and what the workout was. And, because I enjoyed the COTs so much, like, and had so much to gain, like, I started just journaling what people had talked about during their COTs. And it's kind of fallen off a bit,
Okay.
unfortunately. But I need to get back. Like, I really enjoyed doing it. It's just my schedule has now gotten a lot busier.
Sure.
But the one thing that I really enjoyed doing was sitting down, journaling like what happened in the COT, what was said, and then how that connects to my life and what my take on their whole COT was about. And I know both of you guys, I think, have gotten those texts where,
It's super humbling, I think,
yeah,
just to know how our words impact each other. I loved
yeah,
it, so I was honored to hear from.
yeah, and I just enjoy journaling, and it helps me kind of process through what's going on in my own life and actually taking a look at myself. And yeah, I think the COTs have more impact than we realize.
Yeah.
And that little bit of word of encouragement to start off the day. It's kind of like reading a devotional in the morning, or just, getting, like, if you have like a word of the day calendar, just like a little pep to your step in the morning, like those little things really do get you to a great start for the day, which I think is underappreciated, but it's really like such a huge impact that's why it's part of the whole F3 mentality, and like part of the rhythm of going through the process.
The list of things that I admire about you is long, but that's definitely one of them. The fact that you are vulnerable enough to share your personal journal entries with guys. I know you've probably gotten them. I've gotten them. You send them to guys. Journaling is very personal that a lot of people probably keep to themselves. And you've been so open to share a lot of those thoughts. That just says a lot about you and the vulnerability that you have. And that's one thing I really respect about you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I want you to know, something that I like to do is just, as we hear these guys, all these stories, right? We've done all these, and I want you to know how impactful you've been. I think not just to me, but to many guys. And what's so cool is uh, you're a huge part of the culture we have here in F3 Omaha. And I think when I hear your story, what's super cool, and one of the reasons we love to do these interviews is because you came into this really low on the hope meter, right? You didn't have a lot of hope, but
Mm.
through this story now, people that are in a situation that you used to be in can now get hope from your story. And so I think just sort of that ripple effect and the compound effect of all the work you've put in, all of the times you've stepped up and done the hard thing or had the courage to share your thoughts, I think other guys get to learn. And so I'm just so grateful that we get to hear this story and that we get to share it. And where we like to kind of land the plane is with just a question for you, like, where do you need prayers and support, encouragement, if guys are listening and want to reach out, like what's something they could sort of nudge you on or check in with you?
I've been recovering from a back ablation that I recently had, where they soldered nerves in my back. I also have an upcoming surgery for, and it's not scheduled yet, but it's it's going through the process of getting scheduled for a bariatric surgery.
Okay.
So, um, I, I mean, I know and I have faith in the community to where like I know everybody's going to be there and be supportive. I guess that I could use prayers maybe that it all goes well when that time comes. And if I start slacking, on showing up to workouts, like just keep me accountable because it is something that's really important to me. So I always look forward to it. And I don't know, I usually have a smile on my face. So it's something that I try to be a happy, loving person. And so when I get that start to the day, even if it's a rough one, it makes my day go by so much better. Just it gets my mood like just in the right spot.
We all love seeing you out there too, so we won't let you. We won't let you not be there.
Yeah.
I love it. And just to reiterate, right? Don't forget about the Heart Walk, right? That's coming up. So
May 16th.
if guys are get registered or and I think the other ask, you didn't say this, but we're encouraging guys to support your team and not wait times. Is that the
Correct? Because my team is specifically through F3 Omaha. Wait times is through like some type of company called Sequence or something. Something like that. But, support F3 Omaha, and that's the way to go.
I love it.
Good job with that.
Let's do a little Nemo. Let's go. We'll go me, Stripes, and then you'll end us off. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Brandon Fleahardy, 40. The Plague.
The Plague. TJ Butler, 47. Stripes.
Great
call. Scott Homer, double 17. Bullseye.
And what's with the double 17?
Because you throw the dart at double 17. My age is 34.
Okay. Because double 17 is a
number on the dartboard.
He's not a sports guy or just gaming guy. He's got to explain a lot to him.
I think all I really like to do is work out and record podcasts. I don't know.
And be a girl dad.
So double 17 is a score that you're trying to get.
So like the outer circle of the dartboard is doubles, the inner circle is triples, and then the right in the middle is the bullseye.
Okay.
So that double 17 makes 34 when you hit it on the dartboard.
What are you going to say when you get an odd number? When you're 35, you can't really.
Triple double 5.
Ooh. Okay.
I love it. Have we done a call sign yet?
Nailed it.
People say nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Which is crazy because nailed it was the site right before I was.
It just worked.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking time to share your story. Love you, man.
Love you, man.
Love you guys.
On our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah. Every man's got a story. We've been broken, we've been bruised, but we rise again and we don't get to choose. Through the fire, through the fight, every man's story burns in the night. Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. On a story to tell, from the valley low to the mountaintop yell. Every man's got a story inside. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah, every man's got a story. Every man's got a story. Voices rise like thunder, they roll. Truth in the pain, it's shaking the soul. Chains may rattle, but they break in time. Every man's story is yours and mine. From the struggle to the glory, every man's got a story. In the dark or in the light, we keep marching through the night. Every man's got a story inside. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill, every man to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every